Thank you for inviting me to this platform, and I wanted to share a story that happened to me yesterday. It's interesting because I was just getting out of a production meeting, and if you've ever been in one of those production readiness gate reviews, you know after how you feel when it's done. It's like you put everything into this program for so long, and these people that pick it apart, right? They do it in such a way that make you feel small, or at least for me, that's how it works. So, you know, your brain's loud and you're just like drained at the end of this, right? I'm just cleaning everything up and getting ready to get myself off the door, and Kevin, KTR, right, as we all know him, in this platform popped up on my phone screen. Oh no, I thought I owe him this content, you know, so we're just working on these raw videos and all these things. And I told him, I will get you this before the weekend, or I might have even told him I'd get it to him Wednesday, but I had that sinking feeling. You know, the feeling that hits you right before you're about to walk out the door because you don't want to be that person. Now you're bracing and you're preparing it. And that happens to us all. I know it does. And I've seen it in many other people. So you got to be aware of it anyways. So I pick up the phone anyways, because I wasn't going to ignore this call. KTR brings great energy to me. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, hi, Kevin. And I was waiting for him to tell me, oh my gosh. But it turned out that he was not calling to check in on that deliverable that I already knew that I owed him. He was not calling me even to remind him of something I owed him. He was calling because something in his day had made him think of a conversation that him and I had together, and he genuinely wanted to know how I was doing. I stopped and I wasn't sure exactly how to answer because that doesn't happen to me. So I asked him, can I call you right back? So I finished putting my stuff into my bag, got up, gave him a call. But those kind of things they don't happen in all the leadership moments and all the transactions that fill my day, all the leading I do at work, at home, parenting, driving back and forth, being a present parent, and all those things that we do, showing up for everyone. This is not the kind of attention I get. People don't call me to check in. They call me to solve their problems, to step in at the last minute when they have a crisis on their hand and chaos, and they need somebody to fix it. They need somebody to make sure it gets done, and it gets done well. That's when they call me. So they don't call to check in on me, and I call to check in on them. That's usually how even my own family, which is somewhat sad to me, but doesn't call me. I have to call them. And that's okay because, you know, I have a lot of energy to give and I have a goal of making everybody's life a little bit brighter. So about 30 minutes into this call, which I'm sure Kevin was only thinking it was be about 5 minutes, but I had dumped on him pretty much everything that we had gone through in that PRR. And since I've led on both human sides of the coin as a man, and then now as a woman, I'm leading. He asked a very direct question, but he said it nicely as he does. And it was very gentle. And he said, do you think this power struggle you're having with this other PM or this conflict that you're in is because of the transition? And of course it's crossed my mind. I don't want anybody to believe that is not crossed my mind, because it has, but I won't let it define me. So I wasn't going to answer this from a place of victimhood either. And, you know, I spent 14 years in the military and Shipmate self. Okay, so I know how to lead people. I know how to meet people where they are. And that's how I approach a problem. But this one, it gave me a pause. And I was like, so I'm going to paraphrase this because I talked a lot after this. So I'm just going to paraphrase what actually happened. So I said, Kevin, yes, of course, I've thought about that, but I'm not going to answer the question in the way you might expect. I'm going to tell you my favorite meditation from Marcus Aurelius, and that's what I want everybody here to know as well. I rarely get it exactly right, so I had written it down, so I have it written down so that I can get it right today. But I know how it makes me feel. The essence of that this meditation I'm about to share is about the choice that we have to determine whether or not the missteps or the challenges that we have in our life are ours or somebody else's. And that's where we really want to be. So choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius, right? He said that in one of his meditations. I don't know exactly which one, but I know he said that. So most conflict inside an organization, and this is where I was going with this, most conflict inside of an organization doesn't come from identity. It comes from the lack of clarity, from uncertainty about the future, and from people not feeling like they matter, like they don't belong to something. And sometimes all it takes is a simple phone call. An authentic, how are you? And then actually listening. You know how many times you walk by somebody and you say, hey, how are you? And they say, very good. And you just keep walking like nothing even matters. It was just a gesture you had to say because that's what we've been taught. That's how we've been brought up. That's how we've been taught to interact with people in a very small way. And now we're in this world where I'm not allowed to be me without you being upset. Guess what? That doesn't work for me, right? So let's live a world where we can live together. Even if you don't believe in everything that I am and I do, and you don't believe in who I am, maybe you've never heard a woman speak in a low tone, or maybe you haven't been in that place, but you don't know what that person's gone through. So treat them with humanity, right? So as you do this and you bring this to your workplace, and this is where I really want you to listen, okay? All it takes is a simple phone call. An authentic, how are you? Be a little bit vulnerable if you have to get them, because you haven't done this in the past. Let them know that, oh yeah, my senior this year, I'm struggling with the fact that she's going to college next year, because it's honest and it's real. And people and those that work for you and work around you, they're real. Remember their kids' names. If you don't know how to do that, do what I do and write it in the back of your notebook, so that the next time you talk to them, until you have an interaction with them, that you know exactly who they are and you know what you're doing. Remind them why they're valued, so that they don't have to convince themselves of it every single day. Who knows? A simple phone call might change the trajectory of someone's life today. Make the call, check in with your team, see how they're really doing. Be the leader they need you to be. Leadership is hard. Leadership is lonely sometimes. It doesn't have to be lonely in that way, but it is difficult, but it is very, very worth the reward.